Thank you very much, and thank you, Christine, for inviting me today. I'm delighted to be here, and it's obviously looking forward to a good event today. I don't know how I follow Christine really with her opening speech and her inspirational speech there, and obviously I do hope that you find my journey interesting. So I was born in Faversham, lived in Faversham for the first 30 years of my life, so I am from the area and I do know the area very well. And I went to an ordinary primary school. I didn't pass my 11 plus, and I went to a comprehensive school, the Abbey School in Faversham, where I was the usual teenager, probably messed around too much, disrupted people, but did my work as well. Did really well in my exams, but actually left school at 16 because obviously we could back then. And should have taken further education, I think, in hindsight, but chose my career path in NatWest Bank, which back in the 80s was seen as a nice, sensible career to follow. Plus I wanted to earn some money and go on holidays and have a car. So all the things that you want to do as a teenager. So I then spent the next 10 years in NatWest Bank, and I've grown up in a family environment where my parents have both worked all their life. My dad has been very driven by his career. My mum obviously had time out when my sister and myself were young. But we've always had a working family, a good working ethos, right through to my grandparents as well. So very much instilled in me the need to go out, get a career and do well in life. So entered NatWest Bank, did the usual tasks when you first start, and gradually worked my way through to the corporate side of the business. And at the age of probably 24, 25, I felt that I was not destined to be behind a desk, and actually I should be seeking life elsewhere. It was at that stage that I applied for Kent Police and was successful, and I tried so hard to prepare in advance physically, mentally, and do all the things I needed to do. I don't like failing, and actually for me I needed to get in there and pass everything with flying colours, which I did, to the final interview stage. Now we are talking 1998 at the time, and the world's a different place in Kent Police now, I'm pleased to say, because my interview very much consisted of am I married, have I got children, what am I planning to do around having children, and I didn't get the job. So having come out of that interview feeling very demoralised, and the male applicants passing, I went on a 2 weeks holiday, and then came back and decided that I would join as a special, and prove to them that actually I was good and I should be in the force, and that's exactly what I did. So I became a special and did that for about 8 months, thoroughly enjoyed it in Canterbury area, and then I reapplied when the opportunity next came up. And obviously prepared, determined that this time I was going to pass and I was going to be accepted, and I did. So in July 99 I was accepted into the force and completed all the necessary training. At training school I got the highest honour, the baton of honour, which was an achievement for the work I did for not only myself but my fellow colleagues, who perhaps struggled in certain areas around the law and legislation. So really, really pleased with that. My parents came to the passing out ceremony, and I remember thinking how proud they were of my grandparents. So I was posted to Ashford as a probationary constable and did the tea making and all the things that we have to do as a new constable on the team. And unfortunately there was a long time before the next intake, so I did it for a long time. But that's part of team building, and that's part of fitting in with the team and doing the tasks that you should do. So I had a fantastic time as a police constable, and then decided about 5 years service that I had the knowledge and experience, and I knew I could do the sergeant's job. So I did the exams, and at that time there was a written exam and also a practical exam and then an interview. And I passed that and became a sergeant. And then I ran the rural team in Tenterden and the 18 surrounding areas for about 5 years, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. We had some really, really good work, had a great team of officers, and probably I'd say the best time of my career until now, obviously. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And then during this time I also had 2 children. And my husband is also a police officer, and originally in the Met, and then I convinced him to transfer to sunny Kent. We have had some times where life's been really difficult. We're struggling with shifts, opposite shifts for periods of time. But on the same token, I think that my children have grown up in an environment where they've seen the reason they get a nice house, a nice car, and nice holidays is because we work hard. And I'm as committed as my husband is, and we both thoroughly throw ourselves into it. I then decided to do the inspector's exam, which putting the children to bed and then sitting and studying for 2.5 hours every night was quite a task for 6 months. But again, failure was not an option. And obviously passed that, and then the second part, and then the interview. And then I was posted to the West Division, which was Maidstone. A new challenge for me. My peers were all male, and I had a very slight flexible working pattern, which allowed me to come home, tag my husband as he went to work, and work our shifts like that for 2 years, which obviously attracted various comments occasionally about, oh, it's time to go home now, and are we going early, and that stigma that attaches to part-time and flexible working sometimes, which probably got to a stage where they then saw the side of me that they probably wish they hadn't seen when I'd had enough. Because flexible and part-time working is available to all staff, it's not just female officers, but the reality is, from my experience, I think we feel as if we have to prove ourselves more if we're flexible and part-time, because we feel as if we have to justify our existence, and it shouldn't be the case. As I say, things have massively improved over the years, but I think as a force we still know there's a way to go. Anyway, so I completed several jobs. I've always been frontline in my career, and thoroughly enjoy the frontline role. Love getting out there, love arresting people, love chasing people, and dealing with the people that are most vulnerable in the community and making sure that they are safeguarded and looked after. And that ultimately is something that you go home and you feel you've done a good job, and that's why 20 years down the line I still feel as if I'm as passionate as day one around what we do around policing. I have completely gone off schedule with my notes that I've made. So moving on from that, about 2.5 years ago I started, I was approached to do the district commander role in Tunbridge Wells as the acting district commander, as the current one had been ill for a period of time and they required someone to cover. And of course, and typical female tradition, I doubted my ability to do that in such a high profile role, and but thought, okay, no, I should do it. And I was very good at it and actually loved the job. So then decided I would go for the next promotion and got supported by my chief superintendent, Julia Chapman, who is absolutely, she's an amazing woman, fair, firm, all the things that I look up to in an individual, and she's inspired me to do what I need to do in the organisation. So I went for the next post and probably put mine and my family's life on hold for 4 months, I would say, in preparation, because I knew that I was probably in amongst the people I doubted myself again, but I think that I knew that I wanted to do well. I knew that I had to do extremely well to get through the process of the 22 people that were going for it. I did get through the process. I was the only female to get through out of 10 successful candidates. Extremely proud, extremely exhausted after the process, but it was well worth the effort. And then I was posted to Swale. So I think it's a role that has come full circle for me. Obviously, I come from Swale and delighted to be put in the post. And we've got a fantastic team at Swale. Thoroughly enjoy the role of District Commander. Obviously, work very closely with some amazing people. Obviously, Mr. Henderson in the front here, we have regular meetings. It's a role that I'm really enjoying and hope to be in for some time. I suppose the learning for me over the years has been very much along the lines of you will get positive and negative experiences in life. Personally, I take far more from the negative experiences that I have in life and learn from those and learn how I would want to do better. I've worked with some amazing people, male, female, inspirational, across the line, and as a force we have come on leaps and bounds since the day I failed my first interview. We're very inclusive around gender and race and ethnicity. My colleagues here in the audience have got a stand just around some of the fantastic work we're doing around recruitment and encouraging people from all backgrounds to come forward. But also there's information around, and this probably goes, Christine, with what you're talking around, domestic abuse, the White Ribbon campaign, and obviously making sure that people feel empowered, women feel empowered, and actually if you want it bad enough, you can go and get it, and you should want it. There are hurdles on the way. I've had hurdles, but there's amazing things out there to do, and actually the sky is the limit. I won't stop at this rank. I know that I've got 10 years left in the organisation. My husband keeps reminding me we've only 3 years left for him. I want the next rank at some stage, but I won't run before I can walk, and I will always be prepared because I know that I have to go into it fully prepared, fully committed, and want to do the job to the best of my ability. I think it's the challenge for me and a lot of women is work-life balance. I've struggled, as have many of my colleagues over the years, and I think we just need to support each other. I think that's where friendship, families, colleagues come into the mix. I couldn't have done this without any of those, and actually we're there to support each other, and that's what we should do. This is a fantastic day for showcasing that, Christine and colleagues, around how women can empower other women and how we can get there and do a fantastic job. You're right in saying, yes, the Queen is the head of the state, and obviously we've also got a female Prime Minister. We have got some amazing women in high profile positions. I too was outraged by the board comments around the females because it's beyond sexism, and actually women in some extremely high-powered roles do a far better job. Some men, it's not to say that men don't, but we should be given an equal chance. I think the world is equaling out as it should do, but we're still a long way off, and obviously it is getting the attention it needs now, rightly so. So, just like to thank you for inviting me today. I don't know if anyone wanted to ask any questions at all, Christine, how you wanted to play it, because I'm conscious I've done less time, however, of obviously keeping you on target.
Yes, one question. How, I'm really happy that you're here. I've had a meeting with you and came out very inspired and with hope also. But what have you done since you came into post? You're playing it down. I know you've done something to actually begin to do work tangibly to empower women. Just give us one example of the change that has happened. So I'm part of the Kent network of women. So Kent Police have numerous support groups to support minority groups, but also women in policing. And I think about 12 years ago it started, and this was very much around the fact that women were A, underrepresented, and B, perhaps weren't getting the support and needed some confidence around what their abilities would be. So I sit on the exec of this support network. It's a fantastic network of people. We have conferences every year, and what we do is support women around
confidence, health and well-being. We support them. I'm a mentor for the force, and I mentor male and female officers through promotion processes. We very much do a lot of work now around the menopause, heading very quickly towards it myself. I'm very aware that actually this is hugely impacted on some women in the workforce, and most of the exec members are in a similar position where we are having the hot flushes and we are feeling a bit uncomfortable in meetings, and our male colleagues don't always get it. And some people suffer significantly, and it impacts on their daily business and their ability or their confidence to want to progress in the organisation. So that is a very quick snapshot of some of the work we do, but we're doing a lot of work to support female progression in the organisation. We have got, I'm not sure, don't quote me, but I think it's roughly half and half male-female officers in the organisation now, but there is a real disparity around the sergeant and inspector rank. A lot of that could be attributed to the fact that obviously that's probably the time of your life where you're trying to have, obviously your family, and I understand from my own personal view as well that I took a step back during that time with my children because my husband was progressing his, and that was the way that we worked it, and now he's taken a step back, and I'm progressing, because you've got to get that balance right. And but we're very good at the higher ranks with the split of female and male officers. So it's just around understanding what females need and how they can do in the organisation. There's certain roles, and you've probably seen the poster outside with the firearms officer. For me personally, that's not a job I'd ever want to do, but actually it's breaking down those barriers and saying actually everybody can do these jobs. They're there available for everybody. You just got to, physically, sometimes women may struggle with some of those roles, but actually everyone has got just as much right as anyone else to apply for them. And so yeah, as a force we are doing some fantastic work around female progression and inclusion, confidence, where I think someone said once that if there was 10 jobs, or if there was 10 requirements for a role, and the male only had 2, he'd probably go for it anyway. If there was 10 requirements for that role and the female had 9, they'd probably say, "Oh, I've not quite got it, so I won't go for it." And I think that is so true, because we feel as if we've got to have it on the, everything done before we can do it. And I've fallen foul of that myself as well. So anyway, really thank you for coming here, and thank you for inviting me today. It's been a fantastic opportunity to hopefully give you my story and explain my journey. If anyone wants to speak to me afterwards, please come over and obviously do so. If anyone would like to join the force, please obviously come over and sign up, and I will hand you over. But sorry.
No, I just have a question for you.
Okay.
You are indeed a good role model for women, but I would like to know the statistics of BAME women that you've worked with and you've supported into, getting up the career ladder. If you can give us that would be really fantastic, so that any other BAME that we know who is a woman that might be interested in pursuing this kind of career, we can assure them to say, you know what, we've got this fantastic, lady who has given support to other BAME women, and this is where they are, so we can signpost them to you. It would be nice to know.
Well, I've supported people, male, female, black ethnic minority groups, lots of people through my career, informally and formally. What I would say, I probably couldn't give you statistics of who I've supported, but I have supported people, but also staff members as well, because obviously don't forget we've got huge staff members within the police force as well, which do a lot of the back office jobs. So actually, there's probably a higher ratio within that part of the force. I know that there's an awful lot of work within the force to try and encourage people from all backgrounds to join, and sometimes there are significant barriers, and that's the barriers that we're trying to break down. But I would be more than happy for anybody to come and speak to me if they were interested to just book through my secretary, and I'd be more than happy to meet with anybody and obviously talk it through with them. That's not a problem at all. Okay, thank you.